Hello and welcome to Mtoto News Insights, this week brought to you by Omar Ahmed. We have such amazing stories planned out for you, but first, let's have a look at the headlines today. The youngest climate change ambassador in Kenya launches a tree planting program in Kajiado.
I started her legacy of planting trees. So I planted one tree in my home, one tree became 10 trees became 20. So far now I've planted 1.3 million trees and we're hoping to plant 1 trillion more. Complaint
to the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, arguing that the rights of the Nubian children in Kenya have been violated.
My older sister, Yasmin, her second name is Samira and her third name is Oganga. So the word Oganga grabbed all the things because she was Yasmin, Samira, Oganga. They should put the 3 names on the ID card, but they just said like, come 2 years after this. He's 18, so he will come at 20 years to get the ID or something.
What are the impacts of the newly assented children's bill?
She was a single mother, and I want to adopt that child. I have to go to court. She's my niece, or she's my niece, but I'll have to go through the whole process of adoption in court, which is tedious, expensive, and and very long. But right now in the new act that was assented to by the president recently, we have the kinship adoption that is has been expedited, and it's also not as tedious as the other one.
On to our first news story. Lack of rainfall is usually brought about by lack of trees, which in turn also cause scarcity of food. Different people have taken the initiative of fighting this challenge by starting different projects. Inspired by the legacy of Wangari Maathai, the youngest climate change ambassador in Kenya's youngest Mashujaa, Ellyanne Wanjiku, in partnership with the Kenya Forest Research Institute, KEFRI, visited Kajiado County to launch a tree planting program, which involves making the area more green. Ellyanne also visited different schools and churches so as to engage them on the importance of planting trees and how to maintain them. Take a look. Climate change is one of the biggest issues affecting our country, Kenya, and the whole world at large. Different people, organizations, and children have come together to combat this situation and to fight climate change. Here in Kajiado County, we witnessed the youngest climate change ambassador, Ellyanne Wanjiku, who has come with the project of planting trees to end climate change and drought.
Genesis verse 15. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. This shows that if we destroy the land that we were given, there shall be no land for us to live on and we shall perish. And in the Bible it also says, my people die of the lack of knowledge. So the less knowledge we have of taking care of our environment, we shall perish, and we do not want to perish, we want to live everlasting years. So we need to increase the biodiversity and sustain the environment.
Amen.
I am 12 years old from the Ponias Factory. I'm Kenya's youngest Mashujaa and East Africa's youngest climate change ambassador. So when I was 4 years old in kindergarten, we did a project on heroes, and these heroes included Martin Luther King, Andrew Nyoike, Wangari Maathai, Barack Obama, Uhuru Kenyatta, and all the other heroes. I really fell in love with what Wangari Maathai was doing, so I started her legacy of planting trees. So I planted 1 tree in my home, 1 tree became 10 trees became 20. So far now I've planted 1.3 million trees and we're hoping to plant 1 trillion more. Conserving the environment for children is really important because children have this way of understanding the environment, and we do love animals. You know, we don't love all animals. Some of us are scared of dogs, cats, birds and all that. But we do care of our environment, and we do like to go on adventures around our estate or around the garden. So it's really important because then we can also create a future place that's suitable for our next generation that we make when we grow up. And all the other generations to come shall enjoy their livelihoods if we take care of the environment. And why As adults, you should also take care of the environment for your children, because food shall be plenty and your children shall not be severely malnourished.
Inatuadhiri sisi kama wanafunzi kwa ukosefu wa chakula, maana climate kama ni mbaya, tunapata kuwa tunakosa chakula. Juu tunategemea sisi wa Masai tunategemea wanyama. Muhimu wa kupanda miti inatusaidia sana kwa mvua. Miti ni mvua. Miti inatusaidia tupate mvua kwa wakati unaostahili.
They can improve the next climate situation in the country by going to places that have dry areas, such as the area we're in now, Kajiado County. If they focus a lot of areas that are dry in Kajiado County, then we can improve. And the people that are doing something in other rural areas in Kajiado County can be improving Kajiado County. And then you can, like from a bird's eye view or a helicopter's view, you can see that the whole of Kajiado County has like no brown at all and is completely green. Also, they can find, like, I know they have geomaps and all that. They can do a lot of drone searching and find the areas that are severely malnourished, such as Kajiado County or other places.
According to the United Nations Convention on the Rights and Welfare of a Child, good food, growth and development, and a good environment are the things that children need for a conducive growth. And with projects like this, which include tree planting, our children can practice this right effectively. Reporting from Mtoto News, my name is Omar Hamid. Now on to other news. Kenyan Nubians have historically been regarded as aliens and still have a weak citizenship status, preventing them from enjoying many of the rights, hence affecting Nubian children who are not registered as Kenyans at birth. The Justice Initiative, together with the Institute of Human Rights and Development in Africa, brought the complaint to the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, arguing that the rights of the Nubian children in Kenya have been violated. We join our journalist Brian King, who attended the event at the Ibis Hotel, where the Nubian Council of Elders met with the key stakeholders in government and even representatives of international institutions like the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child to discuss on the implementation of the decisions of ASAWEC. Take a look.
Kibra is in the middle, center of the capital city of Kenya. We are talking to Matiang'i in that petition as Nubian community in Kenya. Matiang'i is telling us, is giving us an answer, narrowing us down as the Kibra Nubians. And talking to the sub-county coordinator, that is DC. What does that look like? Are they implementing the decision, or they are making some more hurdles? Okay.
Does that mean, therefore, that whatever he's saying in the answer has been followed, at least for Kibra?
Nothing. It has made things become difficult.
So, first, the problem was the response he gives Parliament on official record addresses Kibra and not the other Nubians in other parts of the country.
You know, also as Nubians, we have single parents. A mother can have a son or a daughter. And for instance, you see, when you want to register, maybe the name of the father is not going to appear anywhere. For example, you can see like Kikus do like this, Maina Wairimu. But a Nubian cannot do Musa Fatuma, for example. You see, now when the citizen is pegged on the father's name, now it becomes very hard for that woman either to register the son or the daughter. The only way she can do it is now to add maybe his brother's name, who is going to be the uncle of that and becomes the father. So you see, it's very hard to register a single parent for a Nubian, because you cannot write the name of her mother as the only parent. So that is also another case.
It just add like my older sister, Yasmin, her second name is Samira, and her third name is Oganga. So the word Oganga rubbed off all the things because she was Yasmin, Samira, Oganga. They should put the 3 names on the ID card, but they just said like, come 2 years after this. He's 18, so he will come at 20 years to get the ID or something.
So your because of the names, your sister's ID has been delayed.
Were your issues addressed as expected?
Yes, because they've given me hope, and the kind of hope that I know at the end of the day, there's a way that we can still counter the rule, the court. Sorry, the way we can counter the accusations, and also how we can go about it. That is what it's been very fruitful for me, a fruitful day.
Well, of course, there were a lot of issues, but I think as a way forward, what the participants have agreed is to, of course, specific action points have been identified that will be put together, I would assume, by the organizers, and will then be communicated probably to the government, but also to the regional mechanisms, both to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights and to the African Committee of Experts on the Right and Welfare of the Child.
I am a Nubian. I still consider myself stateless because the government has no way identify or recognize my community. So I'd love them to do that. I'd love them to give us our land right. I'd love the government also to make me feel like I have access to each and every kind of services that I want in the country as a Kenyan.
On to our last news story. We join our journalist Brian as he explores the impacts of the newly assented Children's Bill. Take a look.
A few days ago, our President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta assented the Children's Bill of 2021, turning it into the Children's Act. Today we visit expert on children law to tell us on the impacts this law is going to have on the Kenyan children.
The President recently signed the new act, which has progressive provisions towards protecting the rights of the child of Kenya, of the children in Kenya. One of the wins for me is diversion for children in conflict with the law. We've been working with children in institutions, basically children in conflict with the law, children who violated the law and were taken through the criminal system. Now, the Children Act of 2001 didn't contain provisions for diversion, basically taking children through an alternative system away from the criminal system. When a child commits an offense, they are taken through a community-based system to correct them, and not through the institutions where they're taken through the courts, which are not very friendly to children. In the end, some of the children were radicalized because of the whole process of being taken through the criminal system. So we have a diversion system right now where children are taken care of through the community-based systems. Another one is the kinship adoption, or kinship, I can call it kinship adoption, where relatives are now allowed to adopt children without going through the very tedious process of adoption in courts, as it were before the new act. Right now, because the new act has not been operationalized, we are waiting for the gazettement by the government. Right now, even for a relative to adopt a child, they will have to go through a whole process of adoption as any other person, any other stranger out there. So if my sister, say, passes and she was a single mother and I want to adopt that child, I have to go to court. She's my niece, or she's my niece, but I'll have to go through the whole process of adoption in court, which is tedious, expensive, and and very long. But right now in the new act that was assented to by the president recently, we have the kinship adoption that is has been expedited, and it's also not as tedious as the other one.
I would say what excites me the most is the new consideration to mental health issues. If you look at the amendment of the rehabilitation schools, previously, they only provided for the separation of sexes and children in need of care and protection and those facing risks. Currently, they've added psychologists and counselors to the rehabilitation centers such that the free counseling is accessible to all the students.
Another major win, we have the new act establishes a social protection scheme for children, or social security for children. We have now the Child Welfare Fund that has been established, that is being funded by the Exchequer. So through the Public Finance Act, there will be finances that will be channeled to the Child Welfare Fund that will take care of children in need of support. We have vulnerable children today, like orphans, that we have children who have been separated in one way or the other from parents, like the street children. They need support from the government. Right now, there is no a structured fund or a fund specifically set aside, with funds specifically set aside to support such children. But with this one right now in the new act, we are going to have now a structured and sure support for children or vulnerable children in society.
What hasn't been addressed is the scope of best interest of the child. Everything is said to be in the best interest of the child in consideration with the best interest principle. However, it is not really described, or to what extent does the court or the authorities decide on the best interest of the child.
Basically, the act has been assented to during transition period. So we don't see, I can foresee, if we are going to lack political goodwill from the next government, then we'll have a problem in financing the implementation of this act, because any law requires funds to implement. Like now, the fund that has been created by the new act requires allocation of funds to that fund. We can have a fund just on paper without money being channeled to the account. So we need good political will from the leaders who are going to come on board next in the next month, or in the next month, beginning August, mid-August. So I can foresee a challenge in terms of it might, I'm not saying it will, but it might lack goodwill from the political leaders.
Some of the challenges would include the new provision that talks about equal parental responsibility. In as much as the idea behind the concept comes from a good place, the implementation will be very difficult, because the socio-economic situation of both parents cannot be equal at all times. Therefore, you cannot accord or expect them to perform to the full extent equal parental responsibility or equal parental duties.
Just an appeal to the new government that will come in place in the next 1 month to support the implementation of this new act.
As we wait for the gazettement of the Children's Act of 2021, we can only hope its impacts will be felt soon. Reporting from Mtoto News Insights, I am Brian King.
According to the 2019 national census, families headed by single parents rose from 25.1% in 2009 to 38.2% in 2019, making President Uhuru Kenyatta worry over the rising number of single families. Single parents are not inferior, but they do have challenges while striving to raise their children alone. Which brings us to our discussion today. What are some of these challenges that single parents face? After this short break, stay tuned. Welcome back to Mtoto News Insights. Before we took a break, I had highlighted on the topic that we are to discuss today about single parents and the challenges they go through, and also the children themselves, the challenges they go through. So I have my panel today, and I'm going to let them to introduce themselves before we start the discussion. Let me start with you, Brian.
Oh, thank you, Omar. My name is Brian King. Trained journalist here at Mtoto News, and also child representative of Baklo.
Thank you so much, Brian. Yes, let's move on.
My name is Chantel Atieno. I'm an actor from Tupolef Production.
Thank you so much, Chantel.
Okay, my name is Brian Omondi, film director, Tupolef Production.
Wow, this is amazing. So we have people from production here, people who act. That's awesome. Anyway, let's move on. Today we are talking about single parents and the challenges they go through. So let me start with you, Brian, before we come back to all the way to Brian. Who is a single parent?
Okay, a single parent naweza sema ni mzazi mwenye, let's say, hana another partner. Maybe ni mama na maybe baba alimwacha because of some circumstances. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brian. Let's move on to Chantel. Chantel, who is a single parent?
A single parent is a parent that anajidipendia juu ya partner wake hayuko, ama ni mwenye tuseme tu ni kama ako peke yake hivyo.
Yeah. Asante sana, Chantel. Tuende kwa Brian King. Yes, Brian, the representative of Paklo. Expect this to be professional, okay? Who is a single parent?
Well, I don't know how to say this professionally as you want it, but of course the simple definition is a single parent is a parent who doesn't have a partner. Basically a parent meaning he or she is taking care of a child without a partner.
Thank you so much, Brian. I see many of our definitions are mostly dwelling on not having a partner. So before we go to the challenges that mostly the children themselves, watoto, challenges in watoto wenyewe wanapitia, let's start. How do they end up being single?
As Brian said earlier, it depends on the situation. Sometimes the parent dies, the partner dies. Sometimes there is a case of divorce. And I believe just sometimes it comes in the matter of early pregnancies. In such a case where a child got pregnant and moved on without the other partner.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Brian. Let's move on to Chantel. Chantel, how do these parents end up single? Hawa se wazazi wenye wako single, wana raise watoto wakiwa peke yao, wanajipatanga aje kwa hii situation?
Vile Brian amesema, kuna early pregnancy, unaweza pata mimba tuseme kama bado kwa mama yako, na boy pia ni kama kukwao. Sasa hakuna vile mta take care of that child. Sasa inabidi mmeachana, mama yako anakupeleka ushago kutoka hiyo. Na ingine ni in case akufe, in case of drug abuse, tuseme kama mmoja anatumia drug abuse na mwingine hapendi, maybe amejaribu kumkataza na asikii, ina end up na wewe basi baki kama hutaki kuachana na drug, mimi niende nitafute mwenye awezani.
Okay, so challenge ya kwanza yenye watoto wanapitia ni ile they do lack love. Utapata like maybe ana baba, anaishi na a single mother. So ana lack that love ya baba. Yes, ndio mom ndio dad na bado ndio mom, lakini kuna ile yenye love and affection yenye mzazi anafaa apatie mtoto wake. So ana lack your love, unaona. So then ukinini utapata like kuna difference mtu mwenye amelelewa na single parent na both parents, unaona. Because mtu mwenye amelelewa na single parent anakwanga ever worried, anakwanga ever stressful, anashindwanga who is my dad, who is my mom, unaona. So anashindwanga yani nani. So they usually face mental health sana na kilezo, unaona. Mental health easy to lea, easy kuwa na furaha kama wengine, unaona. Okay, so let's say an example kwa shule. Watoto wanapiga story kuhusu vile babake amempeleka trip, amempeleka wapi. Sasa yeye anafikiria I don't have a father, nitapiga story gani? So hapo inakuwa challenge kabisa kwa the society at large, unaona, because I can't share my own ideas yet I don't have a father, I don't have a mother. So so nitaenda wapi sasa yeye nikwambia shida zangu? Then so that's the problem. Problem ni mingi. But sana ni hiyo
like psychological health, mental health, and also neglect, because you find that wakipiga story umesema maybe anasema I don't have a father, let me not engage in that story at all, sindio? Let's come to you, Brian King. What are some of these challenges that children who have parents who are single go through?
Okay, Omar, of course, there are a lot of challenges, and when you're talking about single parents, we want to look at this in different angles. No? The emotional aspect of the child, the psychological, and also the societal now. As to the societal, first of all, we have to look at what are the differences between a child who's well raised with both parents and the child who's raised by a single parent. We have to look at the role of a mentor in a family. When you're talking about a lady or a girl, basically, they're looking at their mother, to be their first, the primary mentor. Looking at a boy, looking at their father, basically, to be their first mentor. Not let me talk as a boy. Let's say.
But as you're talking that, as you are explaining that, I want to ask you this question also. As in, there's also this aspect that if a boy doesn't grow up with the father, kuna venye that boy will be.
Yes, I'm getting there.
Thank you, Kijana. Let's continue.
That's why I'm saying the societal conception. Basically, the first role of a father is to be a mentor to their son. Basically, let me talk of a boy child. We have a girl child here. Maybe she can give us a direct perspective. Now, for a boy child, the father is not there. The mother is there, basically, and so unapata growing there some things that a boy with a father will do, the same one will not. The other, it's not the same that's going to happen because the first person who is with is the mother. What the mother does, that is how things are supposed to be done. The makeleles in the house, basically. I'm not saying this in a negative manner, but I'm just saying the authority in the house is the mother. I'm not saying it's something wrong, but basically society expects a man to be this person. There's a definition of a man. There's a definition of what a boy is supposed to be. Now when it comes to this boy who doesn't have a father, now he has to rely on the mother to be the father. And that's where the society tends to exclude some boys. A boy doesn't want to play bano or football and kucheza na kalongo or some other stuff. And it's not wrong. Basically what you find is that's what he found. That's what he found. Now the society tends to exclude. So that is challenge number one. As you say, neglect from the society. Negative attitude from the society. The second one, we're talking about the psychological aspect of a child. As in, how does this child feel? As Brad said earlier, I don't have a father or a mother. I'm looking for this. This is something that is missing. My friends have one. Even my mother has one. But Mimi Sina. So I tend to look at that. I tend to feel emotionally abused. And when I might bring it up to the mother or the father, they might feel emotionally damaged. Especially if the partner is lost or divorced. They might end up abusing the child either physically or verbally because of asking such questions. And they cannot help themselves. It's something you have to know. But then if you're from a single parent family, you literally want to know your father or your mother. It's something that is within you. Now the emotional aspect. How do you deal with the emotions? A single parent might tend to let their children express themselves even more than how a parent family with both parents might basically when it comes to crying, laughing, and even the authority in the house. You cannot cry here when I'm here and that. Now a single parent might tend to overturn that. So you find this a boy or girl is either emotionally suppressed or emotionally overexpressed. So you tend to find an emotionally unstable child. So I think for me those are the main challenges. But then kuna the physical provisions part, of course. Unapata a parent is not able to provide food or sanitary or just the basic necessities of a child. So there are a lot of challenges that come to this. But then again, a large percentage of families consist of single families. So yes, I believe our mothers and fathers are doing their best. So I think I'll pass it on to see what parents have to say.
Thank you. Let's move on. Let's move on to Chantel. Yes, Chantel, I want you to give us now. Brian has said that the mother is the authority in the house. Really? Okay. Okay, Chantel, give us in a girl's perspective. If, for example, a girl does not grow with the mother, you're raised by the father, are there some things that this girl will lack? Or are there some traits maybe this girl might get from the father?
Ziko mingi. Tuseme kama msichana, kuna vitu zinaweza ongea na mamake, hizi ongea na babake, lakini juu amegrow na baba, tuseme ile kama sanitary towel, tuka hiyo, tuseme kuna wazazi wengine watakangi kusikia, watakuuliza zile pesa nakupanga za break unapelekanga wapi? Na wengine unaweza kunamwambia hivyo na kumbe pia nini akili yake iko kwingine. So unapata kuna wasichana wanaripiwa na baba yao juu ya kukua. Ya kukua close, anajeka close sana na babake.
We are taking a short break here at Mtoto News Insights discussion, but we will be back with more, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Mtoto News Insights. We are continuing with our discussion on single parenthood. Now, Brian, you've mentioned, no, we are moving to the other Brian Omondi. Today we have two Brians. Anyway, Brian, so we have mentioned now the challenges like the parents and also the children go through. Now, tuongelele sasa community. Our watoto wenye wako they are raised by single parents. Are they being treated equally in the community?
Okay, so hapo itategemea na the community yenye wako yanako based. So mimi naweza sema first wewe ukiangalia gap ya Kenya, kuna ile yenye kuna gap ya the rich na kuna gap ya the humble people. Unaona? So the poor ni kong
si poor
ni the humble people the humble but rich. Yes, they're humble. So utapata like mwenye amelelewa in a humble family, utapata like let's say uko ghetto, utapata like yeye ataishi na a single parent, si ndio? But yeye tuna like yani like life yenye anaishi na yani na single parent wake, kwake itakuwa ni kama ni ile yenye ni drive kwake, unaona? Itakuwa ni kama ni drive, inamdrive kupursue career yake. Different na mwenye ako in a rich family, yetu kwake ni mateso. Yetu na like misizishi bila dad, misizishi bila mom, unaona? So ana keep on oppressing the other gender of the parent, unaona? So ukuja kumtu wa ghetto, yani unanga yani rafiki yangu pia hana mzae. Upia yani mtu ka Chantel pia hana mkuru. So hapo tunani kama kumbe tuko pamoja. So utapata like hama single children wenye wana wazazi wataenda wamekusanyika, yani ka form group yenyewe, hao wenyewe ndio wanaongea kuhusu issues zao, vitu zenye wanapitia. Na hapo utapata like hapo at least itamsaidia, yani kwa lefeke atona like yani siko peke yangu, yani kwa watu wenye wananisaidia, yani kwa society. So hapo hivyo akishasaidia at least akili yake inaweza tulia, anaweza cheza, anaweza share yani ideas zake. Juu challenges zenye zinapitia the same na huyu na the same na huyu, na a problem have shared
is a problem have solved.
So utapata like at least hapo vitakuwa everything iko sorted. Ukicompare na mwenye
ame grow up na so thank you so much, Brian, for those inputs. Let's come back to Brian King. Yes, Brian, now I want you to give us what can the community now do to help. Brian has told us that some of them are treated equally, some of them we don't know according to the background or something like that.
It depends with the community.
It depends on the community peer. So what can the community now do to help these people? Now talk from both perspectives. This child lives in Runda where they wake up and they eat from gold plates, and then there's this other humbled child who is so nice together.
Okay, I don't love that division. It's not okay because we tend to think of a child as a child.
Yeah, a child is a child.
But basically, a challenge is a challenge, my friend. But then let me tell you something. A challenge is a challenge, whether faced by someone who is living in, let's say, Kiserian and someone living in Kawangware. It's the same. A challenge is a challenge. So, especially on the emotional aspect, let me tell you something. We are both here to the same things. My friends. But the thing is simple. What can the community do? It's simple. By embracing children as they are. By the way, we need to treat children as children. So let them be. It's okay. Teaching is good, but then there is the revoking part. It's really terrible. Like I know of a case that in school, a certain parent was forced to come with a man because the school somehow requires both parents, the father and the mother.
There are some high schools.
A disciplinary meeting, which I don't understand. It was not fair to the single parent. Now you see, for the community it's so simple. You need to start embracing single parents. We're talking about single mothers and single fathers, and we tend to forget single fathers. By the way, when you're talking about single parents, people tend to think of single mothers alone. But truthfully speaking, some single fathers do tend to experience worse. Because a mother can multitask. Fathers tend to stick in one thing. There are cases of abuse and even in some cases suicide. We tend to forget our parents when we're talking about issues concerning children, but we tend to forget that we as children na pressure mingi. Kama wewe unajua unaenda kusumbua and then wewe uende na shughuli zako, umepigana, you've broken something and your parent maybe, you see, we tend to forget that. So I'm thinking the society should also provide counseling, psychological support and even material support where it's needed to single parents. Tunafaa tuanze, the community should start thinking about self-help groups, the chamas and all, the single parents, whether the CDF and government can just come in and try to help out whatever manner they can. Because come on, they are our parents, and trust me, by there you guys have to agree with me. If your parent is not okay, you're not going to be okay. They'll come into the house and rough you up in any manner possible. So exactly. You have to understand that they also have emotional needs, and as children we also have to understand we need to take care of our parents even though they are taking care of us. Don't do that and that. Don't push this button or this button. It is your right. By the way, we tend to forget by them. It is the right of a child to know both their parents. It is a right stipulated in the children's rights, by the way. But let us not push too much, okay? It might uncover some wounds and all. Yeah, so basically community, acha tuchane watoto kwanza, the community should start embracing single fathers and single mothers equally, treat them like they're members of the society, isn't it? It's cool. Treat them as they are. Yeah. Children, watoi, I'm talking about me, you, Omar, Brian Omondi, and Chantal. We need to treat them as our parents and as we love them. So, but I did not say, that's our single parents. I'm just saying, but it doesn't have to be single parents. It just has to be your parents. Treat them equally.
Yeah.
It's the good book says treat everyone as you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Brian, for that. Brian has also mentioned something quite very important, that when you think about single parents, let's not only think about single mothers. There are suffering single fathers out there. We need to stand with them.
Are you one, Omar?
No, I'm not a single father for now, but not for now. I'm not a single father. Okay, let's move on to Chantel. Yes, Chantel. Now we've talked about the community. Now let's talk about the big leagues, the big dogs, the government. Serikali inaweza fanya nini kusaidia our parents wenye wanateseka, okay, si wanateseka, but single parents at large, yeah, wenye wana struggle?
Mimi kileza sema ni serikali inaweza come through in a way that kuna masaa unaweza pata school fees. School fees nasumbua sana. Unaweza pata mtoto amekaa a whole term ama whole year home. Hajenda shule, hajafanya nini, lakini akona ile nini ya kusoma, anda kusoma. Sasa government inaweza kuja nini mabasari. Basari kwa wale wenye kuna wale wenye wanataka kusoma lakini hawana hiyo nini, hiyo chance.
Yeah.
Na pia kwingine ni kwa chakula, fooding. Kuna masaa ingine unaweza pata nini mama ama baba a single one amejaribu vile anaweza lakini bado nini anaweza kuwa ametafuta nyumba palipopote, lakini unaweza pata akienda kutafuta anaulizwa wewe umetoka wapi, na kwa nini unataka hii kazi? Aseme nani, atasema wewe maybe unakuja kutuibia, tuwezi kupea hii kazi, ndio tutafute mwili kwingine. Ama sema ndio kufua, anaweza sema utatuibia manguo zetu. Sasa inabidi tu sasa zingine enda kukopa kwa majirani, nayo inaleta vita. Unakopa na urudishi. Sasa tuurudishi kwa maana utaki, ni kwa sababu una ile uwezo.
Asante sana Chantel kwa hizo comments. Let's move on to Brian. We getting word that we have a very few minutes before the end of the program. I want you to look at your camera. Is that one? I want you to look at that camera. You're a film director, yes? At a very young age. It's even impossible. It's very possible, by the way, it's very possible. Yeah, you're a film director at a very young age, which means you're exploring your talent and you're even getting resources to showcase the problems zenye watu wanapitia kwa nini. So I want you to talk to that child who is maybe who has a single parent and maybe is losing hope and maybe saying, I don't think it's going to work, my parents are poor. Yeah.
Okay, so young child, wherever you are, don't lose hope. Life is there for you. Everything is there for you. What you can only do is believe in yourself, trust in yourself, what you can do. Usiwahi kwa determined na situation yenye uko, when you change your situation. Mimi being a film director, ilibidi nimehaso. Unaona? So wewe pali uko, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. And don't lose hope. Life is there for you, waiting for you. Unaona? Mimi ningependa kama uko hapo hivyo, kuna platform tuweza kuja pamoja na to act. That's it. We can direct the world, direct the whole community. Yes, through movies. And that's it. That's all I can do. Directing the community through movies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Hey, asante sana. Let's come to King. King, very few seconds, by the way, the time is ending. Yeah. So let's just look at that camera and then give us your parting shot about single parenthood and children.
Children out there, simple. My message is and has always been love. Love your neighbor as you want to be loved. Love your friends, love your parents, treat them equally, and love generally. That's all we need as humanities. Just love. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brian. And Brian, let's move on to Chantel before now we end. Chantel, very few words about the child who is out there who has a single parent. Yeah.
Mimi naweza sema si ati ukiona uko na mzazi mmoja unaona nika that's the end of you. Kuna maisha yako hapo mbele yenye Mungu amekutengenezea yenye lazima kama God forbid angekupea wazazi wote wawili kwa maana ungekuwa hivi na hivi, lakini amekupea mmoja kwa maana anajua ungekuwa na wote wawili ungefanya hivi, lakini juu uko na mmoja unaweza look forward kwa huyu mmoja juu ndo amekunini. Juu singine unaweza pata kuna wako wazazi wawili lakini baba the most of the time anakuja kaa amelewa, hakuna pesa ya chakula, kuja kutisha chakula na hajaacha. Sasa ni wewe uchange maisha yako na ya mzazi wako.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chantel. Actually, you've summed it up quite well. Don't, no matter the situation, you can still change your future. It doesn't matter how many parents you have, you can still find a way in this life. You can still make it. You can still pursue your dreams. You can still do your talent and explore well. Sindio, thank you so much for engaging with us in this conversation. You can keep the conversation itself flowing on our social media platforms at Mtoto News, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and find me at Omar Hamed 83 on all social media platforms, and also visit our website at www.mtotonews.com. This program airs every Saturday at Lookup TV at 8 p.m. and also our YouTube channel at Mtoto News every Sunday at 8 p.m. I have been your host, Omar Hamed, and for now I say goodbye.